Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch and be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to a section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunt Hangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name and you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunt Hangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, but just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here. I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes not even I can get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do this during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, the contest coverage that Sparky does, sometimes he does video of him flying at the flying site. If you enjoy that, find that informative, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please share, subscribe, comment on the videos. All those engagements help the Stunt Hangar YouTube channel grow. Plus, please consider joining Stunt Hangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which comes out to less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member. I have the $4.99 come out of my own checking account. And I don't have to do that, but I see the value in it. And I just want to partner up with you to support this channel. And if you don't want to do the subscription, which is a monthly amount of $4.99, and by the way, there's two tiers above that. That's the lowest tier. But if you don't want to do the monthly subscription, you can do what's called the super chat, which is below the chat box. That's only during a live stream. And then during a replay, you would do what's called the super thanks, which I believe is a heart shape with a $sign in the center. And that way you can donate any amount you feel inclined. I mean, hopefully you see the value in it. Hopefully we are making your control line or model aviation life better, and it's worthy of your support. I believe we are doing that for people. I mean, we have some pretty talented people. We have people that have been doing it for a long time. I think Sparky himself has been doing it for over 60 years. We got a lot of people who are doing it 50, 60 years. And you can stand on these giants' shoulders and build yourself a really nice plane, learn how to fly better. And I really think it's a steal just to give us the $4.99. I mean, that's like going to Starbucks and buying one of their concoctions, you know, and that's all we ask. Anyways, please do that. Please also like, support, share, subscribe, all that. Now, as a member of our YouTube channel, you get access to member-only videos. Not all the videos are uploaded, and not all of them are for public. Some of them are just member-only. So if you join our memberships, you'll get a chance to watch those member-only videos over and over and over again. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, because this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I come in Monday and Friday evenings. I set up the show. I stream it live on YouTube, and I don't come back until the next broadcast. So tonight's Monday. I won't come into Sparky's channel again until Friday. So if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that is to go to my YouTube channel. Because if you have a comment or question on my YouTube channel, I'll get a notification on my cell phone and be able to respond to you quickly. So this is Sparky's YouTube channel. Go to my channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. Let me repeat that. Flying Control Line Stunt. That's the name of my channel. And if you would, please locate the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video which Sparky shot with his video camera of me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL. It was orange back then, and now that same plane is white with, I think, orange trim. And check it out. Please like, share, subscribe there as well. If you have any comments or questions, leave them there on that video and I'll be able to respond to you. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family, room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children and grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm now going to post a link at Stunt Hangar Forum. Let me make my way over there right now. Okay. And just give me a second here. And I believe all this is ready. Yeah. All right. The link is posted right now. So there we go. And now I'm going to make my way over to the to what I call as the control panel. Let me do this real quick. Okay. Let's see here. All right. I'll do that like that. Great. Fantastic. All right. Now I'm making my way over to what I call the control panel. Just bear with me. Let's see. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm beginning to get into the Christmas spirit, I tell you. We put up the Christmas tree recently and got all our Christmas decorations out. I know we're kind of late. Some people have it done before Thanksgiving, but just didn't get to it early enough this year. So I'm working on it. It's coming. Let me see here. I see Caffeine is in. Hey, Caffeine, how you doing?
Doing good.
All right. Just give me a second. I'm making my way to the control panel and setting up the show so I can keep an eye on everything and keep it going, cooking with gas, that kind of stuff. And let's see here. Let me fix this. So let's see here. Just another moment or two, and I will be done with this, and then I won't need to do this anymore. I see there's some people already in the chat box. That's great. I see Marcel Legrand is saying, hi, Charles, and everyone at Stunt School. Time to learn some more. Absolutely, Marcel Legrand. And Fur Master 212 says, evening all. And Gary Sinclair, who is the first member of our YouTube channel in. He's also a monitor of our YouTube channel. He's provided us with a like. Thank you, Gary. Gary's in the house right now. And then Fur Master 212 says, doing well here. Charles, we're ahead and you subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the I saw a super chat recently you did too, Fur Master. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. And let's see here. So we have 8 concurrent viewers and 7 likes. And we're just about ready to get going. And it looks like Sparky's in here as well. Good. So let me start with you, Caffeine. You came in first. Caffeine, how you been? What you been up to?
Not much. So, yeah, I flew last weekend, and then I've shared it as well. I pancake the factor.
What maneuver was you doing?
I was trying to do the horizontal 8. It was when I was doing the outside loop.
All right. So
I think I don't know. I think it's a combination of very slow response plane and not high enough to start the outside loop. So yeah, it happened.
All right. I'm sorry to hear that. That's part of the maturation of flying stunt. That happens.
Yeah.
And I call it the crashing stage. And eventually you'll get past the crashing stage. And I mean, hopefully you don't have any hardware failures. Then you'll get past the hardware. And then, of course, doing the pattern, doing the same over and over again helps eliminate those brain farts, where you kind of forget.
Yeah.
So between that, but I find that most people need myself. When I was doing the outside part of the maneuver, I didn't move my hand. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you do the inside, you can hold your hand up and it'll do
Mm-hmm.
it automatically, but the outside
Yes.
parts don't work automatically. You have to actually move your
Mm-hmm.
hand. And I pancaked uh,
Mm-hmm.
my franchise twister many times because I didn't realize I had to keep moving my hand on the outside part. But you get spoiled
Mm-hmm.
on the inside, you can just hold it up.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so
So yeah.
is the vector repairable?
Um, I don't think so because it's on the uh it's on the really the center of the wing. It's yeah, it could be, but it could be it could be done, I think, but when it's done it will be heavier. So I don't think I will repair it. I will just take all the control system, and yeah, just keep it for future build. uh yeah, since I have my P40, I will assemble that first now.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean,
So well, I think one of the reason is one of the reason of the crash is I got my P40 because it happened before. Every time I got a new package, a new planes, the old one crash,
well, at least you have something else to fly. That's because you don't want to lose any handle time. So that's you want to
Yeah.
maintain that handle time so you continue to benefit from your last experience. There's too much
Yeah.
time goes by, then you have to start over, and you lose the benefit of the crash. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Let me say hi to
Yeah.
Gary Sinclair. Hey, Gary, I sent you an email with Gordon Delaney's picture. Did you get that?
No, I don't think so. Didn't get Gordon's.
You check your email. How long ago did
Okay.
you check the email? I sent
I
it.
just checked it just a little bit ago because I was
Really?
working on one. Uh,
Wow. Okay. Let me know if it's not there. I'll resend it. I'm pretty sure
how
I have
about how about the one at your field? Did you get to take his picture?
Phil's.
No, he's can't think of his shoot. Oh, Joe Mata. Don't he fly with you?
Yeah, he
He comes
does.
in here all the time and you was gonna take his picture at the field the other night.
Thanks for reminding me. I got to get that going. Yep, I
Yeah.
got to get that going. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And I got Whitley's today, so
Say it again.
Bob Whitley's
Oh,
got
you
his
got
today.
Bob's today. Oh, good,
Yeah.
good, good, good. All right. I know it's getting close to the end of the year, so I know we don't have a whole lot of time, and
Yeah.
we have to get together and do like an editing session.
Yeah, right. I got
So
it.
we can fix that. So maybe this weekend, okay, we can do that. Because I know you need to get that done. And I think Sparky came in after you, Gary. Hey, Sparky, thanks for coming in.
So
What
doing
you
a
been up
little
to?
building today. Steve came over. He's in. We got his stuff kind of put together, and I'm working on my profile. That's about it. I think flying season's over for us.
Well, you can come out to Escondido and do some flying.
Uh,
I had really nice weather out here.
no, I'm not going back to California.
All right. Well, I have Gordon Jack said like provided, and glad to see you again, Gordon Jack. And I did read something for you for a change. And I think Steve, the original Steve Smith in St. Louis, came in after Sparky. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Did some building over at Sparky's today. Got the fuselage going. It's felt like progress.
Very good. So this is going to have a like a 5S, 4S, or 6S system. What are you going to do? What are you going to put in this crossfire?
Well, I got the motor to arrive today. Actually, after I got home, it's a badass 3515 720,
Oh, okay.
and I believe you can do that with a 5S or a 6S. So I don't know yet.
Cool. Cool. And right now with your vector is a what cells do you run in your vector right now? And what
I'm
motor?
using 4S 4000 MAH. Kind of heavy, but
Very good. Well, I'd like to see the difference between those two, or hear the difference. If you can let me know what you noticed the difference in between that system, that'd be great.
Well, the Crossfire is a bigger plane, so
And it'll be lighter.
and it'll be lighter than the Vector, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, working next to Sparky, it's going to be lighter.
Yeah, boy.
Well, let me see what that Bart Kaplinski's been up to. Hey, Bart, good to see you. What you been up to?
I've been really sick. I've had a
Really?
sinus infection I caught in California.
That's right. I remember it's why you didn't come down to Escondido, because you got sick.
Yeah, drove home with it, and I'm just now. I got out for the first time today, so feels good to be outside a little bit. I went to coffee with my veteran friends, and so now I got to start planning for the trip back to California. And I'll call you later.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. On your cell phone, I had your area code backwards, so I think
Okay.
I've got. Yeah, I've got
Oh,
you now.
that explains it. Okay. Yeah. That explains it. Very good.
It's just good to be out of bed.
Yeah, I bet. I'm happy that you're on the men's. That's
Thank
good
you.
news. That is very good news. And let me say hi to Jim Hoffman. Hey, Jim, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Charles?
I'm doing well. You been doing any flying or building lately? I know you're working on polishing out that Lunar.
That's what I've been doing. I think I'm done wet sanding. I'm identifying. There's a couple little spots that need fix, so I'm identifying those, and then fix those, and buff it out.
Very good. Very good.
I'm gonna fly on Thursday. I'm gonna go to Tucson. I know John is gonna meet me, and probably Lou. I'm not sure who else will be there.
Very
I'll
good.
try to be there.
So I've got some experiments I want to do on the big one. So the weather here is lovely. It's cool. So
Nice. Oh, very, very nice.
should be very nice. Should be nice. And then I've been cleaning up the shop. You know, in between airplane builds, I try to clean it up, and it sorely needs it. So I'm working on that too.
Very good. That's good.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to Bob Whitley. Hey, Bob, you feeling better?
Oh yeah, feeling top notch.
Great, great.
All over it. Yeah. So Steve, I saw your debut as a video star today.
Yeah, I walked into the camera a bunch of times.
Oh no, you had a lot of up close attention there. I saw with your fuselage.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, you're in good hands.
I think so. Yeah, I'm learning a lot.
Oh, I bet. I bet you are learning a lot. Oh my goodness. I would love to have that opportunity.
Well, move to St. Louis. See, we're trying to get people going all over the place.
Yeah.
Hopefully that stuff I sent you to Gary, will be usable. So
I got her done.
I was trying to get them in front of one of the winning pylon racers, but I just didn't make it out to Villeneuve Airport.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that someday and post it on Stunt Hangar or on Hangout here.
Yeah, post it on here. Hey, Bart, Marcel Legrand says hi. And
Thank you.
he says, how's the Pathfinder? Of course, you haven't been feeling well, so I imagine you haven't made much progress on that, I imagine.
No, I won't have much time before Christmas either. I have to leave on the 23rd, so
All right.
a lot of catch up to do at the house.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll get there.
All right. So Bob, Bob Whitley, have you had a chance to do any building or flying?
Well, I shot clear on a couple of my old profiles that have been on the back burner. And I got to make up the landing gear for my flight streak again on its second rebuild since 1974.
All right.
So different engine this time. I've got an FP20 on it. I might throw an LA25, same mounts. But over the years, it's had a Super Tiger 36X, or not a Super Tiger, a Fox 36X, a Super Tiger C35, a Super Tiger 46, an FP35, and this time around on the rebuild, it's going smaller.
Wow. Now, when you
Going
have
for
to
smaller and lighter.
when you change those engines, what do you do with the those holes you're making?
You break off the nose and you put a new one on. It's called a crash.
No.
All right.
Yeah, but you know, with the Super Tagger 46, the 36X and stuff, they're pretty much the same width and fairly close. So back in the day when I was a kid, I just drill more holes and I wouldn't even consider drilling out the lugs on the engine though, like some jerks do. But you know, I've made up adapter plates on different engines on holes and things like that, or the sandwich plates over top. I've tried out all of it. Everything seems to work. It's just how ugly you want it and how much effort.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Yeah, I've used all those myself, the sandwich plates, and I've drilled holes and filled the other holes with toothpicks or wooden dowels, and done that as well many times over.
Yeah, using nowadays using the threaded 440 inserts and mounts is a whole lot easier to relocate than screwing around with blind nuts back behind that might be buried under a cheek cowl.
I've tried those inserts, but they get so close to the crankcase, there's hardly any wood on the inside of the you know, that U shape, that open space. I mean, the inserts are right on the edge.
Well, it's close, but they work. What's critical is to drill them accurately with a drill press or a drill guide, and make sure they're in the right spot because there's no going back. And use the exact right size hole that's on the package for hardwood or softwood. And what I do is instead of trying to use a screwdriver or a wrench on them or anything, like some of them have that slot on the end,
Right.
put that facing in, and that helps grind the hole a bit. And to guide them in, I thread a bolt into it and then use a jam nut.
Right. That's how I've done that too.
And then carefully do it. Now, the same if you're really fussing about it, I usually don't bother, but what can work is, you know how you use a drill press to start a tap just to guide it, you know, with not turning it on, of course. You can do the same thing with that.
Right.
And but the thing that I find really helps, you got to glue them in anyway. Smear some slow cure, like 15-minute epoxy or something on them, and that'll help lubricate the threads in the wood as you grind them in.
All right. Yeah, I just find that there's hardly any wood between the crankcase and those inserts.
No, there isn't a lot, but when you think about it, you're replacing that wood with solid brass.
All right, that's a good point. Good point.
So you got the brass glued to the wood. It's probably at least as strong, unless you've screwed up the hole, drilled the wrong size, and you split the wood.
Anybody else had any success using those brass inserts to mount engines?
I have had quite a bit of success. My Ringmaster is, I don't know, 25 years old now, and it's fine. Everything's held in with brass inserts.
The way that Bob describes using the slotted end as a cutter is how it, I think, is supposed to be put in. You put a washer on a 440 bolt and run it run it in to the insert and then drive it in with the hex driver. Works
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I don't use them for new builds, but I've used them for repairs.
Also, for guiding them in the start of it, if you're not using the press technique, use a T-handled hex driver, and it gives you a way better control.
Okay.
Yeah.
The L-handle ones are always pulling to the side.
Right. Right.
I prefer T-nuts because you have more parent material in the maple beams left, and also you're putting the wood into compression. So that's the best state of affairs. So that's why I start off with T-nuts,
Right.
blind nuts.
Right. Same here.
Of course, if you're retrofitting and you don't have access behind it to put a T-nut in,
That's right. That's right.
Very
So
good.
I don't use those inserts for new builds.
And I use them as an anchor for tank mounts on profiles and whatnot too, so they don't have a bunch of bolts sticking through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me talk to Mark Gerber. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good, Charles.
What you been up to? You been doing anything in your shop?
I've been eating some crow.
Oh, really?
Let me show you.
Yeah. What happened? Oh my God.
Hmm.
Tom Ramel gave us a like, and Marcel Legrand said, "Hi, Bart." And Tom Ramel says, "I was driving at night and hit a deer at 55 miles an hour, totaled my car."
Oh,
Yeah,
You
deers.
all right?
Yeah, that's a good question. You all right, Tom? And let me see. And then Marcel Legrand says, "Hope you're okay, Tommy."
Hopefully the airplane he had in the back is okay too.
Yeah. I wonder if it's his Camaro that you like so much. Let's see here. So what we got here? Okay, so I see you calibrated your scale.
So Friday night, I presented a bunch of data that I had taken with my torsional pendulum of looking at inertias of a whole bunch of different propellers.
Right.
And Sparky questioned the weights that I had on my propellers. And so I went back and I checked one on my wife's kitchen scale, and turned out it was way off from what I had been using. So I went back and got the instruction book out and I recalibrated the scale one more time. This is evidence that I calibrated it correctly this time.
Yeah, I see.
And so it turned out that all the weights are about twice what they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sparky was right, huh?
Yep. So here's the chart I had before with all these weights were up in the 84 up here, and rev ups were in the 30s, and they all came down by about half. Here I reweighed them all, and they were all just about exactly half of what they were before. Unfortunately, I didn't have to do the experiment over again because the weight was used to calculate the reference moment of inertia. But
can you leave that up for a little bit?
Sure.
Well, I want to take a picture of it, but I left my camera somewhere.
Well, you can
just do a
go back on the
screenshot, Bart?
replay tomorrow and
Bart, can you just do a screenshot on your computer?
I'm going to try. Let's see. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll feel better one of these days.
Yeah, you will.
Well, now, where in the heck is my camera? This phone I have is really, really strange. There it is.
Is this the before or after?
Okay, leave it up for a little bit if you would.
this is the after with the correct weights.
I think I got it.
All right. Great.
I'll put my glasses on so I can see.
And here's the chart I had for the inertias.
That's a great graph. Oh yeah,
And
turned out good. Turned out
this
good.
is the one with the bad weights. And that's what it looks like after you correct it. It really didn't change it. It all shifted down. But the relative inertias are about the same.
Well, the graph you just had up is correct. Is that right?
This one here is correct.
What about the one I just took the picture of?
That one was correct as well.
Okay, that's what I needed. Okay, thank you so much.
This graph is made from the correct data, Bart.
Okay, well, let's see what I can do.
Mark?
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. I'll see if I can get a picture of that.
Yo.
Yeah. Good. I got it. Thank you.
I guess I missed the when you first explained what you were trying to do.
Okay,
What was this showing us?
Let me back up here. Some of you guys were not here. What I did was I built a torsional pendulum. And the way a torsional pendulum works is the period of oscillation depends upon the moment of inertia of the rotary object that you're turning. So here's the oscillating back and forth. And I timed the amount of seconds it took to do 30 oscillations and then divided it by 30 and came up with the period for one oscillation. And
How'd
from
you
that,
get oscillating in the first place?
you just take your fingers and twist it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It'll oscillate at its natural frequency.
Yeah. And
Okay. So what
the frequency does not change with the amplitude of the oscillation, which is kind of an interesting factor here.
that was a question I had.
No, it doesn't matter what the amplitude is. The frequency stays the same.
Now, are you saying that theoretically, or did you actually measure that?
Well, I didn't try to measure it, but it's theoretically.
Oh, try to measure it.
The way we all learned it in engineering school, Howard.
Yeah, well, engineering school, if you're an aero, there's air involved blowing on the prop, and I was wondering whether that had a significant effect.
Well, the damping is pretty low. This will oscillate for several minutes, so I don't think it has a significant effect.
So what were you trying to learn or determine or prove or disprove?
I was trying to learn what the moment of inertia of the propeller is. Because the moment of inertia of the propeller determines how much torque you get imparted to the airframe when you do a rapid turn.
Okay.
So the yawing that you experience doing a corner, either inside or outside, is affected by this inertia of this propeller and the speed of the propeller too. But so that's what I was doing, Steve, was I was trying to measure a whole bunch of propellers and see what we were getting.
So did you come to any conclusion as far as material?
Well, yeah, that's what this chart is all about. So the APC props are really heavy, and so they have a lot of inertia. So the two I had were way up here.
Yeah.
And then the next highest one were the 3-blade carbon fiber, which surprised me a little bit because I thought the carbon fibers were lighter than I think they really are.
Hmm.
But when you think about it, they've got 3 blades. All of these have 3 blades. So it's kind of natural that they have more inertia than a 2-blade. And I didn't have a 3-blade wood to balance, to check against the wooden ones, but I think it would have probably been pretty similar. And then the 2-blade carbon fibers are just slightly heavier and have slightly more inertia than the 2-blade wood ones. And those are down here, farther down on the graph.
So this is just one factor that the prop material affects. I'm sure there are others. It seems like everybody's using those 3-blade carbon fibers on the electrics.
Yep. Yeah, I would have liked to have an electric propeller. I got some data from, here's some of the weights. These are the incorrect weights.
Oh, okay.
When I remeasured them, they all came down, except that I didn't have the badass propellers. I was just using the numbers from their website. So the badass didn't change. They were correct in the first place. And the other ones came down. But you can see that the carbon fiber ones have decidedly more inertia than the 3-blade ones do, that especially in the larger diameters than the 2 blades or the wood ones. So that's
what is the benefit of the carbon fiber then?
Well, you get some other advantages besides the inertia. You get, I think, a better airflow.
Okay. So there are other factors besides inertia.
Yeah, the slipstream is probably better controlled.
They're very stiff.
Yeah, they're very stiff. Jim pointed out. I would like to get some 3-blade electric ones and see. I know Costas, when we were out at Las Vegas, was quoting some numbers of what he had, the propellers he was making, and they were very light. But I can't remember what he said. I don't know. Charles, do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I was just blown away at his shop and his fabrication of those molds. Just mind blowing.
The
Well,
Igor props are about 16 grams, and I think Kestis are lighter.
Yeah, Kestis was talking in the 9 and 10 gram range for a 12-inch 3-blade prop.
Yeah, so they'd be really down in the mud here.
And
I
a lot
think
of the 3 blades you're seeing on electric airplanes are Igor props, like Howard mentioned.
Mhm.
And they're way lighter than the carbon props I shared with you.
And so they would have a lot less inertia as well. So they would presumably come down here. But again, I don't have any handy, so I haven't been able to measure one yet. If somebody wants to send me all their Igor props, I'll be happy to take them off their hands. Anyway, that's what I did this weekend. Sorry that I screwed up last week, but
That's okay. At least
Sparky had it. Sparky had it right.
Yeah. Hey, let me see. Stuart Morrison, what you been up to? I think you're muted, Stuart.
Trying to stand a valve a little larger. Any good way of sanding plastic?
I imagine. I just don't know what.
I'm using this. But other than that, we had a good swap meet.
Oh, that's right. You went over to Lynn and Naomi's house.
Let me show you what I got.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, props.
Propaganda.
It's pretty good.
Now you have to make a torsional pendulum and tell us all their moments of inertia.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Ooh,
Ooh, LA 46.
All right.
and a 15.
LA 15.
Wow.
It's kind of rare. The 15s are really rare. And what's that one? You're muted again. I don't know how you got muted.
Sec here. There's something here.
Oh, we got you.
Yeah, so I got these two are new, and then this one's used.
Wow, that's great, Stuart.
Let me show you a few other things.
All right.
We're going to get into. I've never done any racing, but I got these two planes when I was there.
Mhm.
All right. A
Buster.
All right.
So we're gonna just have a fun thing where we're gonna get into doing this because a lot of us didn't have these planes, but you know, I would give them to us. So, and then this was I picked up a lot of little parts and stuff, and then I got this too.
Oh, a Legacy 40. Wow.
Ooh, nice airplane.
Very nice.
That was pretty nice. I mean, Len drove like 5.5 hours to go get to one of these guys' houses, pick up a lot of this stuff. And there was another closer, but so he brought everything into the basement, had us all over and gave us lunch and the whole bit. It was like, so it was fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That is great to come home with all that stuff.
That's why I don't like swap meets, because I bring home too much crap.
I think you made out. I've seen a Legacy 60, but I've never seen a Legacy 40. I imagine just as well.
Yeah. Hopefully next year, maybe I'll build that. I got other plans for this year, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, very good. That's great. I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
We're doing this, the racing thing. I think it'll be fun where you get the two guys out in the circle. So it'll be just a fun kind of thing. We're not going to get too complicated.
All right.
So
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Let me see here. I think it was Howard Rush. Howard, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. You gave us a different venue. You hardly ever in this room.
Yeah. Well, that's where I am. Yeah, that prop inertia thing's interesting. I might have to make me a pendulum. What size wire is that you used?
It's about 30,000, I think.
Okay.
Anything around 20 to 30 probably works fine. It's about 36 inches long. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got some. So
cool.
Thank you for doing that.
So
you still got your old edition of Halliday and Resnick?
Yeah, I've got a more recent one, I think, with a different cartoon in it.
Anyway, all the equations are in there. Just look up the Garchon pendulum.
I have a question from Furmaster. Furmaster asked me, where is the Zoom link on the members tab still good? Charles would like to join you all next Friday when I get a webcam. I have the link posted inside Stunt Hangar Forum. That's why it's very important that you register with Stunt Hangar Forum. That's Stunt Hangar, stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/S. That's Smart Men Flying.
That link didn't work for me.
But this evening you didn't. That didn't work. How'd you get in?
I used the meeting ID and the password.
So you found the meeting ID inside the link that I posted?
Yeah, it was down below the link.
Okay, very good.
You posted it, Charles.
I know I posted it, but you said it didn't work.
Oh, worked fine for me. I just
the
went
meeting ID.
Done it.
I got in.
Yeah, it's I can't explain that. That didn't work.
That's okay. At least you're in. That's the important thing. So I was telling Furmaster 212 that the link is at the Stunt Hangar Forum under at the bench, and you have to be a member or logged into Stunt Hangar Forum for the at the bench link to appear. And you need to register.
Remember, Howard probably uses Linux or some other operating system. So
I'm using the iPad. I usually use the iPhone.
Yeah, sometimes iPhone doesn't work either. It's that Apple proprietary. I don't know what platform that is.
Well, I use my iPad all the time, and I've never had a problem getting in.
Well,
all right. Well, let me see here, and then I think John has been coming in and out, so I'm going to go to Mark because John Miller. Hopefully, he'll come back, and then we'll get to John Miller. How you doing, Mark?
Which Mark?
I'm sorry, Mark Wise.
Okay. Well, I think I have some good news. I'm trying to work on a little program here that if you have a Pampa card, you get a discount at Hooters. Anything to get more members.
Yeah.
No, just catching up on work in the shop, and Paul and I and Bill Lee we start our formal training program for the Worlds in January. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to learn, and we're looking forward to it and need some more volunteers. And I do want to thank. I had a conversation with Charles about a name, and Jim Bornhold volunteered to be a tabulator if he's feeling well enough. It all depends on his foot. And the original Steve Smith is going to lend some credibility to the event as a tabulator. So we're looking for one of the things we're looking for, and Howard maybe you know the right person. Paul and I need a team manager for all 4 disciplines. We don't have anyone right now. I'd like to get one by the end of the year. I sent out a note to the combat people, the racing people, everyone who's going to be flying in the worlds, just to see if they have a candidate. And if any of you know, I mean, it's kind of unique because you need someone who has some familiarity with all 4 events. And the second thing is some familiarity with FAI. Because there are certain things the team manager can do during the worlds that I can and Paul can, even though we're kind of the event directors. So if you know of anybody that has that kind of experience, if you give them my name or give me their name, we'd appreciate it.
What relationship do you have to the U.S. team? This is a U.S. team function.
It is, but I asked Bill if I could, do we really need a team manager since there's really no big housing issues and things like that? And he said, yeah, because under FAI rules, the team manager has certain access to the teams that I normally won't, which I'm not exactly sure what that means since I'm the event director. But I think the team manager is more responsible for who's flying and things like that. And so if any of you guys know anyone, I'll know more about it in probably 2 weeks. Paul's pretty familiar with what a team manager does.
Yeah.
So
Billy is too.
Yeah. And then, we need runners, a couple of positions. I got a couple of guys to do pull tests. So, and I'm not counting on the people who are going to be working the Nats to spend an extra 10 days after the Nats to help us out. So I think those who, I don't want to make any of those assumptions. That's a long time. So we're getting there. And I'm just trying to get some planes ready in the meantime. And I think someday this week I'm going to go up and see Mr. Hunt. Oh, wow, that was quick. There you are. And spend some good time with him. So things are going well. I think August will be here sooner than I like. But that's okay. That's all right.
I have a question, Mark Wise, regarding the work helping at the Worlds. How much is the pay, and would you get at least a free T-shirt or what?
Well, actually, there is pay. I'm not sure it goes by position. I can't remember the chart, but it's roughly $700 for the week. And I guess that comes out, I don't know the funding source Bill does. I assume that's from entry fees. I don't know if the FAI has a pool or how that works. So there is a fee. Unlike, well, we have money for the Nats as well, but that's really divided by what we get back from AMA. So I think last year may have been, I don't know, maybe $300 for a judge, something like that. It doesn't cover the cost, but it helps. The 700 is a little more reasonable, but that won't cover the cost either. But that's okay. It's better. It's a lot better than nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to be a little wishy-washy because we're ahead of the curve here. The whole program is coming out right after New Year's. That's when Paul and I and Bill are going to be spending just a ton of time together. And I'm probably going to go out maybe in April, May to Muncie, because they're talking about doing some work on the cracks. And Paul and I are concerned that what a contractor thinks a smooth surface may be and what we consider a smooth surface may be two different things.
Oh,
a half-inch bump can upset an airplane.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather be there being a pain in the neck than just assume we're going to be okay. Apparently next year they are going to resurface. And apparently the problem is something to do with the subbase. So those who go to the LPAD in the future, I think will be very pleased. This year it should be okay. It'll be better. Right now, it looks like it'll be circles 2 and 3 for the worlds. For a fair amount of good reasons. One may have the best surface, but it has the worst wind, and you got to put all that into consideration. And we're only going to use 2 circles, unfortunately, for the worlds. We wish we could use more. We've tried that year after year, but the FAI won't agree. So we have 2 circle managers. One is definite. Bruce Jennings has agreed to do that. The other, Paul's talking to Tim Just, see if he could do it. He'd be great at it. But that's the person who takes away from the judges anything to do with timing. The circle manager is the person to make sure people are ready on time, and he times their flights. Okay, so the judge is really just judging, not worried about the clock, which I like. So we have one of the 2 circles covered, maybe both, but I'd rather have more names than less, because Tim stays busy and he's not always in this country. So
I have another question about the worlds. I mean, I know you're still learning this too, but I'm just curious. At the worlds, does the judge call out the number and someone else records the number for the maneuver?
no. I wish it was the same way they did it when Howard was there, I guess 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Because they had it, well, they had it electronically. There were some bugs in the program, and Howard's very well aware of that you could miss scores. So the nice thing about a paper program, you have a trail.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be the same as what Steve and the others do, and the runner will collect the score sheets and bring them to the tabulators. It'll be the same, very similar system. We haven't seen it, but we're going to start learning it in January. So anyway, and I encourage anyone, regardless of whether you want to help or not, to come and watch. Next time we'll have it'll probably be 20 years. That's what the gap seems to be.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I'm looking forward to, I hope I can get to talk to Igor a little bit because he's judging.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm not in that class, but maybe I can, give him a hot dog or something or bribe him.
Mm-hmm.
So, if any of you have questions about it, get a hold of me or Paul. And I think Paul's back on the road right now going towards Southern California. And so.
Really? Maybe I should tell him to come to Escondido, come do some flying.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing, in case you stay close to AMA, and I just kind of found this out a couple of days ago. We had a real good friend in Tony Stillman, talking about the control line world. Tony is a world-class pattern flyer. He's had a company, what's the name? Radio South down in Florida. I used to get hinges and radios fixed from him. Anyway, he retired. And AMA hired a guy from somewhere in the Midwest. Name was Toby Silhavy, just like the name of the control line designer. And Tony'd been there maybe 6 weeks, I'm guessing here. We had some meetings with him, but he left. So right now there's a vacancy in the director of competitions. So again, if any of you, it probably requires a move. It didn't say definitely, but it said probably to Muncie. But it would be a good position. To AMA, I don't think you're going to get rich taking a position. They have, certain rules they have to follow. But if you love the hobbies, it'd probably be a lot of fun anyway. So that's all I know.
Thank you very much. Next came in was Carl Reed. Hey, Carl, how you doing?
Doing just fine. Just doing baby pancakes, as you can tell, stuff and pizza down my face. Other than that, I'm doing fine.
All right, cool. Well, I look forward to seeing you maybe this Friday, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and be there.
Very good. That'd be great. Cool. Let me talk to Bob Hunt. Hey, Bob, how's it going?
Well, I've had better weeks in my life.
Hmm.
My wife had a nasty fall, hurt her
Oh
back.
no.
Yeah, she's laid up a little bit. So
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah, pretty good bruise.
How's your back, Bob?
A little better. I had the epidural shots, and they seem to be working now a little bit now. And my legs have been hurting a lot. But a few years ago, I had gotten some orthotics and never used them. So I tried them out, put them in my shoes, and my legs feel better. So we'll see. You know, keep trying.
All right. Very
Say hello to
good.
my old friend Bart there. How you doing, Barton?
How you doing, Bobby?
Well, I'm okay.
You
I'm
give
not
your
going
wife
to
the best.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be able to come out and see you in March.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I redecorated and everything. Oh, that's too bad. Well, it's good to talk to you anyway, and
You too,
we'll
my
talk
friend.
to you hopefully before Christmas.
No, yeah, we keep in touch. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad your legs feel better.
A little bit.
I've just had a nasty sinus infection for about 3 weeks now, and it's driving me nuts. But I live with it, so you know.
Yeah. We're all living with something.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Mm.
All us old coots.
Yep. Well, I got a like from Philip Bailey. So anybody in the chat, anybody listening, if you have any questions, go ahead and let's field the questions to us now. We have a gallery full of talent and experience. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will read it out loud for the gallery to mull it over.
What was the subject matter of the night? Was there a subject of the night?
No, not tonight. There wasn't. No, I was hoping everything would catch on fire, and we'd have a great show. Hey, go ahead, Bart. What's going on?
Might think about Gordon. Is Gordon Delaney on?
No, not here. I don't know.
He had a fall. A ladder tipped over. He had a fall, and his rib cage is real sore. And he cut his head. And you might think about him. So I'll be going up to see him in July. But, yeah, you might think about him. He was under quite a bit of pain.
Oh man, that's all he needed on top of everything else he had going on.
Yeah, well, his feet are dead, and you know he's having a lot of trouble. But yeah, he didn't need this. So anyway, you might think about him.
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking about him earlier today because I got a picture from Brent Williams of him holding up his Pathfinder, his LE Pathfinder.
Oh yeah.
Very, very pretty plane.
It's a very nice. It flies good. It flies very well.
Yeah, I remember.
Brent,
I remember talking
Brent's
to
a good
Miles.
guy.
He flew it, and he said it. He loved it. He thought it was a great flying.
Yeah,
plane.
it flies good. It flies real well. And anyway, Brent's a very good friend, and Brent's over there to help him quite a bit. So that's good, you know. And Roger Kramer is too. Roger's a good guy.
I have a recommendation from Minnesota Mike. He says black Spanish radish is good for sinus infection.
What?
Black Spanish radish is good for sinus infections.
I should be pretty close to those. Living in Tucson. I'll check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, it's from Minnesota Mike. Thank you, Minnesota Mike. Been a while since I've seen you in the chat box. Any flying or building questions? I should have been more specific.
I do have a quick question. Iger Berger, anybody know what his website is?
Whose website, Steve?
Igor Berger.
Is it Igor Berger or Igor?
Igor.
Igor, thank you. And just
like
type up.
not like in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. So just type up Igor Berger and see what I
I
get.
thought his site was named after one of his airplanes. I'm trying to remember what that was.
The Max B?
That might be it.
Well, I'm trying to find stuff about his control system because I have a guy up in Phoenix who is actually a free flight guy, but he built an old time airplane and brought it down 2 years ago, and it actually flew quite well. And he wants to know about this control system. They're working, I think, on another control line airplane. So I need to find that control system, and I probably could find it on his website.
Steve, did you get my listing of suppliers for control line stunt? Sent it out maybe 3 months ago to everybody. He's on there.
I've got his website.
Oh, check out this airplane from Bob Hunt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that up there, guys. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's already up.
Oh, yes, you did.
Paint it first.
Well, I wanted to show. Is that showing now?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Looks nice.
I didn't mean to jump in that quick. I was trying to loading these up so I could show it to you later on. But since it's here, let me take this off.
That Joel Costantino is building in my shop. And we've been refining the alignment techniques for twins for several years now, in case anybody's interested. If you notice, the nacelles are mounted on little fixtures that are glued to a base table that and they're oriented to each other perfectly. So they're in every aspect, they're oriented correctly to each other. And then you mount the airplane to them. You don't mount the nacelles to the airplane. You mount the airplane to the nacelles and line it up. If you can notice, there's lineup marks on that base piece of foam. And that base piece of foam is sitting on the table and it's indicated so it's level. If you have to shim it or anything, level it. And if you notice, we don't mount the nacelles to the airplane. Getting an echo. If you notice, we're using a Johnson angle finder. It happens to be a flat stab mounted at 0 degree incidence. So if you have the nacelles at 0 degree incidence and you put the airplane in there and you can line it up at 0 degree incidence and then line it up over the center line so that everything, the skew is correct. So I'll show you one with the skew now. Yeah.
It's awesome. Thank you, Bob, for showing us this.
I don't know what's showing right now.
Right now is just showing the nacelles up close.
Okay, hold on. Is that showing now? No.
It's still showing the nacelles up,
Hold on.
up and close.
Let me see what I can do here. Somehow I lost my connection here. Okay, here we are. I gotta load it again.
You're doing well. No problem. Let me read something while you're doing that. Brent Williams said earlier, I forgot to mention this, that Igor Berger wrote on Stunt Hangar that the 3-blade props act like a symmetric gyroscope so that it has constant gyroscopic moment during one revolution, while 2-blade has 2 maximums and minimums. And Brent Williams says Igor Berger is easily contacted on Facebook. So who was looking for Igor Berger? Just go to Facebook. There you go.
Thank you.
Find him on Facebook. You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, I texted you the.
Is anything showing now?
Yeah, the bottom of the nose. The nose of the fuselage.
Sitting on the block.
and we can see the alignment
Okay,
line
yeah.
on the.
So we made little blocks that have vertical pieces equidistant from the center line on each side. And then you can line the fuselage up over the center line, which is halfway, obviously, between the two nacelles. And you can make sure that the skew is correct. And then, let me see if I can get down to another one here.
What's the skew?
The skew is the lateral, the fuselage left and right over center line.
Oh, do you want it parallel to the nacelles?
I want it parallel to, the center line of the fuselage got to be parallel to the center line of the nacelles.
Okay.
And then one more here, if I can get this to load. I'm not sure. Hold on a second.
I was wondering about that because we have offset on our single motor.
Well, you can put offset on the motor mount in the nacelle.
Oh, well, I guess you could.
Yeah. Is that showing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little Johnson angle finder. So you set that on the base board to make sure that it's level. And then providing your stabilizer is flat, which this one is, and mounted at 0 degree incidence, you can then assure that and of course the nacelles are at 0 degree incidence. So everything agrees and it makes it easy to line up a twin. Very, very easy to line up a twin. And the other thing, if you notice, see if I can find another. Give me just a second here. I'm going to go back to the first picture for a second. That's showing?
Not yet.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Now, if you notice something else there, that should be showing now.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. The airplane has been primed and sanded, and it's got more sanding to do yet to get more of that the sealer coat off. But we did it. One thing we learned, that the hardest thing about building a twin is finishing around the nacelles because it's so hard to get in there and work. So this time we did all the priming and sanding on the nacelles and on the airplane prior to assembling the airplane to the nacelles. And then all you have to do is mask off the area where you're going to put the, glue them in and fill them in, and then prime them, and then sand just that one little area. So it saves a tremendous amount of time. It makes it very viable to make a twin almost as easy, if not easier, than a single engine or a single motor airplane.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
Yeah, well, the obvious is not always obvious.
It is to me now.
So anyway, just so you might want to see that.
Yeah, it's really neat. And that Johnson magnetic angle finder is nice and compact. It looks.
Oh, they're great. I mean, I hate incidence meters. I tried them and I couldn't get the same setting twice. I put them on and it says 0. I take them off, put them back on to double check, and it's off. I could never get an incidence meter. The ball bearing ones are better, but that angle finder is dead on the money every time. You can take it off a dozen times and put it back on just to check it. It's always exactly the same.
Called an inclinometer, and it's available at Sears for $12.
Yeah, you can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's or Sears or almost anywhere.
Yeah,
and they're magnetic too. So when you're aligning when I put the wing into the fuselage crutch, actually I'll get a picture of that in a minute here. You can then I put the wing up on 2 supports, foam supports, and then I put a metal piece up on top of the fuselage, which are parallel to the center line of the wing, and then the angle finder goes onto the metal piece, and it stays there nice and it doesn't move, and you can line up the tail. I'll show that too in a minute here. So I don't want to dominate this, but
It's kind of like those deflection scales from Dubro or whatever for control surface movement. I got one of those given to me as a door prize, and what a complete waste of time to try and use.
These things really work well. I recommend it to anybody,
Can you show that again, Bob?
What's that?
Can you show that again?
I'll show you another picture of one here.
Bob, I have a magnetic inclinometer that is digital, and you set it on the surface, and let's say that the surface is not level, you just press 0, and that'll zero that, and it will be in relation to the bench that you're on. So you don't have to
Yeah.
level the bench.
You don't have to level the thing, you have to level the bench. Yeah, I've actually seen those. But I had this, and I found a way to make it work well enough. So, but I might eventually get one of those digital ones because they are nice. They really are.
Not very expensive either. I think $19.
But I already have this, and it works. So, you know, and I can shim the thing that goes on the table till it's level, and then anything above that, when I put the angle finder on, it's going to be level too. I'm trying to find another picture over here. I know I have one.
I used that same exact inclinometer that you have when I was at Hardy. That's what sets sidecar incidents. You place it on the front disc and you lean the motorcycle in 1 degree and then mount the sidecar.
Uh-huh.
So that's great. Not many guys can even mount sidecars in St. Louis.
Actually, I got here's the picture that I.
These 8-foot long fluorescent light bulbs and an inclinometer.
That's showing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That other picture showed it better, though.
You know, this shows a different technique, you know.
Yeah.
You notice the things that the on the wings, this is a fully sheeted built-up wing. So I took a rib, you know, where those balsa pieces are. I took a rib from that area, and I traced it. I covered it. I made an extra rib in the lost foam system. This is a fully sheeted built-up wing, and I covered it with the same thickness sheeting that's on the wing, and then I made these little things that slide up onto the wing, and they're parallel, hold the wing parallel to the table, and the table is indicated level. The wing now is level, and the fuselage is level. Everything is leveled off, so it works pretty well for me.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it would.
You know.
Very cool.
See if I can get rid of that. Yeah, there you go. And then I also use it to line up the tails. I'll just show one more picture of that lineup thing. Hold on.
While you're doing that, John Skukulak, who's a member of our YouTube channel, he says, I just purchased a digital Johnson angle finder on Amazon for $10.85, delivered overnight. Thank you, John. And then John Skukulak went on to say, correction, it's not digital. All right.
There you go.
Look at that. That looks great.
That's one more thing. And then I also, once I have everything lined up and indicated, then you can use it to line up the tail as well. Let me see if I can find that one.
So you have everything at 0, 0, 0. There's no
Yeah, if anything, a 100th of a degree positive, but never any negative.
Oh, come on, you got to make it fun.
There's a little fixture I made to hold the tail. If you can see, it's adjustable.
Yeah, that's
down.
very cool.
And that angle finder is worth its weight in gold. I mean, we've used it for so many things. So I think I have one more picture here of that device I use.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. That's a cool device. Adjustable.
Yeah, it's fully adjustable. And again, I cut since I have a lot of foam, you know, I have some capabilities most people don't because I have the stuff around. I make dummy tails and dummy wing panels so I can cut them, I can cover them and cut them and get templates where I want them. That's the exact shape of the wing or the tail at that section. And that's how I make the cutouts on those little plywood pieces that mount to the fixture so that I know that they're going to line up on the stabilizer perfectly.
Yeah, that's great.
That works good. And if you notice those little clips down in the bottom left there, I'll show you just real quick. Oh, you know, if you guys don't want to see any of this,
no, we definitely do.
Please.
Oh, absolutely.
Are those for your control horn, Bob?
Yeah, these are how I put my control horns in. Let me just
Hi, Jim Bornhort. He just joined us. Thank you for coming in, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Charles. Yeah, I was watching on YouTube and saw that my old buddy Bob Hunt was on tonight,
Yeah.
which he hadn't been on for a while. So I thought, well, I'll get on and communicate with Bob a little bit.
how's your foot doing?
Doing better, doing a lot better. I'm still in the boot, but they're telling me 2 more skin grafts and I should be done.
Ooh.
So, you know, it's been a long journey. I mean, it started in June. Surgery was in June, and I had to have a second surgery in July because of tendon tore on my leg, and
Yeah.
and you know, just one thing after another, Bob. But I'm doing all right.
Aren't you glad you got a second opinion?
Yes, I am, because the first opinion I got was not. It was pretty bleak. And
I asked
yeah.
I asked my doctor for a second opinion, and he said you're ugly too.
Did he really? Oh, yeah. Well, you know, he's a good doctor. He's very observant, Bob. Very observant.
Hey, Bob, do we have the same doctor?
Anyway,
hey, I heard you talking about the epidurals. I'm getting one next week. Back on my lower back. I've had one, and I'm going to get a second one now because it really did help. As far as my leg pain, it doesn't affect my foot, but it did affect my leg pain. So anyway, I heard you say that, so I decided I'm going to get one too. So we'll compare stories.
Yeah.
which one had the most pain?
These are your clips. You put the elevator horn in.
Yeah, it lines up the elevator horn. I don't like those little metal clips to go around the bushings and then try to stick into the trailing edge. That's very difficult to line them up. These are dead nuts perfect every time.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's simple.
You need a laser, Bob. You'd have a lot of fun with a laser.
What's that?
You'd have a lot of fun with a laser. You make really accurate doodads like that, whip them out.
I can't afford a laser, pal. I'm old fashioned. Anyway, just so you guys want to see that.
Yeah, it is very neat, Bob. Man, I love all that stuff.
Your kid knows how to move them.
Yeah, the kid does a lot more than I do. That's for sure. You just need to get building.
Make sure you heal your foot, because I have you down for the Worlds to be a runner.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll be ready. I'll get out and I'll do some practice and.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll run up and down the neighborhood.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Very cool. Looks like John Skukulak, Jonathan Karadas came in. Hey, Jonathan, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
Good.
Hey, Jonathan.
Did you see any of the images that Bob Hunt had showed?
I've just come in.
Okay, you got to watch the replay. The
right.
Bob's Hunt's jigs are fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to it.
Yeah, alignment jigs extraordinaire.
His shop is full of ideas.
It's funny, when Howard came to visit the first time, I called up. Well, I have a mutual friend in Dean Pappas, and the parenthetical thing. He when Dean and he saw each other, they started talking, and it took me an hour and a half to sweep up all the brackets and equations and the symbols that fell out of their mouths onto the floor. I didn't understand any of it. But Howard walks into the shop, and I knew he was coming, so I had it all arranged to show him all this neat stuff I was working on, and everything was laid out ready to do a show and tell. He walks into the shop and he points at my foam bricks. I have foam covers for bricks so I can put them on balsa wood without marring the balsa wood. And he goes, "Foam bricks, brilliant."
Yeah, I've seen them. That is brilliant.
The only thing you like were the foam bricks.
Oh no, there's a lot of stuff there. There's full of cool stuff, as you can see.
That's pretty funny.
You both probably took buckets of stuff home.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, he and,
I
and
did
Dean
and all that.
he and Dean had a great talk.
You know, Bob, you and Howard and Mark Wise, you should get together and do a comedy act.
I rather thought we were a comedy act. Um, oh well.
So, guys, I forgot to mention earlier on a happy note, we had a really nice get together Friday night with our control line club for a Christmas get together.
Oh,
About
good.
15 or so out. That was really nice.
That is nice.
And
Yeah.
I got my pistons and liner sets from Brian Gardner. Only took
Nice.
1 week to the day from Australia, so I was really
Wow.
pleased. So my engine specialist buddy Paul Jabot is putting them into a couple of my Super Dagger 60s right now.
Nice, nice. Very nice.
Got one more quick one here. Just
Sure.
this shows the lineup on the, not a very good exposure, but that's how you line up.
Okay.
These for a different twin. But
That's good.
Bob, is that the same design as you had last year with the twin?
well, this one is actually an older photo from a thing called the American Spirit, which I never actually finished. I sold it to Jerry Haupt, and when Jerry passed away, it got back to me through Sparky. I'm very thankful for that. Sparky did a great job of keeping it in pristine condition, and I'm finishing it up over the winter here. Health, allowing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll show you a little picture of that too. I got a picture of that here sometime.
It was a pain in the ass, but I kept it safe.
Yeah, you did a good job, Sparky. I was really pleased with the job you did. Yeah, here's. I was on pins and needles till I saw it, and I was there it is.
It had one little ding in it, but I didn't put that in there.
It was the size of a BB or something, it was nothing. But is that showing?
Yep.
Yeah. Looks nice.
Yeah, so that, it's gonna be a retract. It's a retract twin. So.
So Sparky, did Bob at least buy you supper for keeping good care of it?
I don't remember.
Well, we had a mutually beneficial deal going, so. That's not shown anymore, is it?
No. But thank you for that slideshow. I really appreciate it, Bob.
Yeah, no problem.
I really do appreciate it.
One of the things I was going to mention, I mentioned this once before. I don't know if anybody's interested or not, but I put all my files, photo files, and even some graphic files and some library type files on articles I've written that were never published on airplanes. I put all of it into one folder, and I can transfer that folder or the contents of that folder to a thumb drive. It's about 14 gigs of photos and all kinds of stuff. And if anybody wants that, send me something that'll take at least 14 gigs.
Okay.
And I'll it takes about less than about a day actually to transfer everything.
Oh man.
And but there's thousands of photographs and
oh man,
definitely, so I'm giving it all away.
Yeah, I'll send you one, Bob. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe I should put in the chat. I'll put my address if anybody wants that.
Yeah, the inside chat. Yeah, I'd be fine. Yeah.
Can you do an SD card? They're mailable.
I can put an SD card in here as long as it can take up to say 15 gigs.
Yeah.
Cool. Some of these thumb drives nowadays are just getting so massive. They'll hold so much and such a little.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
256 gigabyte micro SD card. Thing is size of a penny.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not very big.
No, 256 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And it was less than $20.
Okay, I sent that. Everybody, can everybody get that?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
Bob.
we'll get it.
Okay.
Bob, that plane you got that you just showed, is that your own design?
Yeah.
Excuse my ignorance.
No, that's fine. You're not ignorant. You know, what's the old saying? The only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
That's right. That is right.
Stupid questions, a lot of dumb answers.
Pretty much everything I've built since the 1960s has been my own design, except for Gene Schaefer's USA Ama. I built one of those, and I built a Tucker Special. I really like those, but everything else has been my own design airplane.
So I guess that's the current sort of stage of development of a long, ongoing sort of process.
I wish I could say that was the truth. My design, I mean, Howard's going to laugh at me because he knows me better than about this kind of stuff, almost better than anybody. I'm really not educated in any of this stuff. I just have a good feel for it, and what I do is I hold my thumb out and I go, it looks about right.
Yeah,
and
TLR method.
That's pretty much how I've designed things over the years. And I've always found that if it looks right, it's light and straight and rigid, has a proper power system and a proper control system, it's going to be a killer airplane.
Well, I always say you never mess around with a bionic eye.
Yeah.
I reckon that's the best design feature. Or tool. Yeah.
Yep.
Certainly very nice. It looks great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Old guy's CAD, cardboard assisted design.
Yeah.
I like that.
Try. Physics will get you, math and physics will get you there probably a lot quicker. But, the cut and try method and just, good old logic will get you there too. It'll take longer, but I think you can achieve the exact same results in the long run. And probably the doing it yourself method is kind of more adventurous and more fun in a way. It's also frustrating.
Well, in education, we used to get new teachers that had been trained and they'd come out and we used to have to reprogram them. We used to say, oh, well, they might have been off to this university and that university and learned the square root of a banana, but they can't peel one to save their life.
Along those same sort of lines in the military, we used to say the most dangerous thing in the field is a second lieutenant with a map and compass.
Go ahead, Bart.
Yeah, Bobby, if you could put your address up one more time, I didn't get a chance to.
It says chat on the bottom.
The chat.
On the bottom of the.
Or I can call you with it either way. I'll just send you an email.
Okay, thanks. 63 Nats at
I got your email.
Gmail. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, no problem, man.
So, Jonathan Karatis, what you been up to? You been doing anything on your Hurricane or?
No, not a darn thing. I've been busy with other stuff. I did a bit of fishing last week and went snapper fishing a couple of times and had a bit of. It's like anything, you haul it out and you find you got about 3 other jobs to do before you get to where you're going. And so I've had a bit of work to do on the boat. And we had a competition this weekend, stunt and team racing on Sunday. Rained like hell. And the stunt, it was blowing like hell on the Saturday. So it was hard work. It was real hard work. But yeah, and I haven't had time to do anything on the Hurricane at all. I've just had a whole lot of snotty little jobs really to catch up with. You know what life's like. It gets in your way at times.
I do. I definitely know what that's like. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, cool. John Skukulek, how about yourself? What you been up to? You been doing any building or been out with the grandson flying? What you been up to?
Oh, no, it's his basketball season now. So, and with Christmas coming up, he's out of airplane pocket for a little bit. I'm not doing too much, just pecking away at a project I've had going for a long time. But I jumped in because the conversation's been so good. A lot of it's been above my head, and I was going to try and shake things up with a couple of beginner questions.
All right, good.
Beginner level questions, because that's not what you guys have been doing tonight, and it's been wonderful.
No, I try to include beginners. I talked about the beginner pattern a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, beginners are very, very important to me. And I'm teaching the guy how to fly. He's relatively a beginner, so he appreciates when we talk about beginner stuff.
Well, I love, thanks, Bob, for the angle finder idea. I've already got one on the way overnight, cheap. But here's the thing that I'm sure you guys all have a way of doing, you know how to do it. I was looking at your airplane there, the way you were aligning the stabilizer with the engine pods. That's not the right name. The cells, yeah. How do you make sure that the stabilizer is perfectly aligned with the wing?
All right, well, if you saw the pictures I put up, the first thing I do is I get the wing and the fuselage accurately. And all my airplanes up to this point have had the top of the fuselage sides are parallel with the center line of the wing.
Okay.
All right, so once you can take that wing using those little fixtures I use to hold the wing parallel to the board I build on, which again is leveled. It's flat and it's leveled in this case. And then I put that little fixture to hold the tail at the back and use the angle finder, and everything has to align. And I double, like everybody here, I'm sure everybody here will say the same thing. It's check it 100 times and glue once.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah.
Maybe check it 200 times.
And maybe tack it before you finally glue it.
Yeah, and come back the next day. When I set it up and get it where I know it's right, I take everything off, put it back on again to make sure it's right, take it off, put it back on, and then I walk away for an hour or two, come back, or even a day, and come back and check it one more time, and then I glue.
Now, I don't know what you do, Bob, but I'd like to interject something for beginner guys. Don't glue them in with CA. Use white glue, because CA tends to pull as it kicks off, and it'll get out of skew.
Good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had epoxy do that too.
So use white glue.
Rather than epoxy?
No, I don't. Yeah, I just use that tight bond to glue my stuff in with. And I don't glue the stabilizer in the fuselage until the turtle deck is on and complete. So it's floating in there, and then you jig it up, and I stand back and look like Bob said, check 200 times and glue one time. Ever how you want to hold it or whatever, but make sure that even after you hold it, you stand back and look at it, because it has a chance that it could move.
I do that just a little different, very similar. I put on the bottom shell. And of course, it has formers in the shell corresponding to the formers in the crutch. So it's really rigid when I get the bottom shell on. And then I glue the tail end accurately. And then when I put the top shell on and glue that on, then I find that if the tail is skewed at all or in tilt, you can twist the fuselage while the glue is still molten. And you can get dead nuts perfect. And then it stays. One thing for sure is when you're using the tight bond, one thing that I learned from Mike Spedalier, if anybody knows Mikey, one of the finest builders, like Sparky, one of the finest builders around. And he taught me to use water every time I'm using a joint with tight bond. He said, take a Q-tip and wet both pieces.
Yeah.
And the wood will expand a little bit. And then when it all dries, it pulls the seams together very, very tight. Everybody looks at the seams of my airplanes and they say, how can you get them that tight? And I said, well, that's Mike Spedalier's tip, is pulling the seams together using water. As it evaporates and dries, it pulls the seam together.
That also works on PVA white glue. The Elmer's do it.
One thing I've been using a lot of Type Bond 3. Anybody try Type Bond 3?
Yeah.
I like it.
Hey, Howard Rush raised his hand digitally. Go ahead, Howard.
Well, since I did, I've learned some more stuff, and it kind of negates what I was going to say, maybe. But I don't glue my stabilizer in at all. I bolt it in so it's adjustable, and as time goes by, I might tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, Paul Walker said that as well. He likes having the
Where do you
staff.
think I got the idea?
Yeah. 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 That way you can sim it as the plane changes. You can sim it to keep it accurate.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, Charles, I said I had a couple of dumb questions. The second one's real quick and there's no real answer to, but I wonder if you guys have thought about it much. With the new FAA regulation, once it's firmly in place, I guess early next year now, you guys think there'll be any fallout, any drive of some RC flyers to control line?
Minimal.
Saw one today on Stunt Hangar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that happens.
Yeah, I invited him to join the hangout tonight too.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think he had trouble getting in.
Arthur, somebody or other.
Not to put a
Yeah, the
damper.
fallout from RC, we're getting a bit of that. Not a huge amount, but we're getting a bit of it in Canada here from people going back or switching over to control line. Just fed up with it.
Not to
But
put a
I
damper
don't
on
think
it.
it'll be a huge movement, but the more the merrier.
Everybody's saying, if radio control is legislated essentially out of existence, which it may eventually be. Everybody says, "Oh, everybody's going to go to control line." No, they're not. You might get a few guys that have tried it in the past, and you might get a few guys who want to try it. But people who fly radio control are radio control flyers. I mean, I'm the secretary of a radio control club, and I can tell you that they tolerate us control line guys because we have a circle there. But very few of them have any interest whatsoever. But the main thing is if the radio control hobby, goes defunct here in the future, and I'm not saying it's going to, but if it does, we're going to lose a lot of the materials and a lot of the things that we use, the hardware items and things we take for granted we can purchase online or at a hobby shop if they still exist. We're going to lose a lot of that stuff because nobody's going to produce it for such a small community as control line, except for the cottage industries and maybe Europeans. So be aware of that we want to keep the control line or the radio control thing as healthy as we possibly can.
Yeah, you're right about very few actually come over. We've had, in the province, maybe about a dozen that I know of, but none of them have joined our club. Because they're fly at their RC field. And in fact, the RC club I'm with, we lost our field due to the NIMBYs whining about the noise. And they'd actually set aside an area and kept it mowed nice for Paul and I to fly our control line planes there. So the Pinoca field also has a fenced off area for control line and helicopters. So there is some positive movement towards control line or for control line within some of the RC clubs, but it's not widespread.
That's right.
Bob Whiteley, are you having the same regulations imposed in Canada that's happening in the United States?
Similar. Our biggest headache has actually been our governing body, the Model Aeronautics Association of Canada, royal pain in the butt. They've taken the regulatory aspects from Transport Canada and made a mountain out of that molehill. So, in fact, they initially tried to enforce the same BS on us and control line, even though it didn't apply at all. So, and that did not come from the feds. That came from our own organization.
But you're having the same identification requirements and feelings and all that?
At present, there isn't any serious talk about transponders or identification of the models. There is the requirement to have what we call an RPAS, basic RPAS is a minimum, which is remotely piloted aerial system. I have my basic, and I'm also working on my advanced right now, but which is what you have to have if you're operating in controlled airspace or over 250 grams in commercial purposes and whatnot. But I want it for a sideline to my business, actually. But the regulations are, I think, less onerous so far for us than it is in the States. But it's still beyond what it should be.
pretty bad when you gotta put in your logbook when you change the props on our seaplane.
Oh,
Yeah. Now, what I think of, rather than paying the $5 and it's to be raised to $10 per aircraft for registration, my viewpoint is you only fly one airplane at a bloody time. So, I have the RW Special 001. And it just might accidentally be applied to a different airplane someday too. Har.
On an accident, right? Accidentally. And we got a like from Lynn Burrell. Thank you, Lynn, for tuning in and giving us a like. Appreciate that. And I believe we're all caught up.
Charles.
Yes,
I
John.
just had a bit of news to add. Gerald Wimmer's dad died the other day, so the funeral's tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I was going to
Please
ask.
pass along our condolences to him, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, will do. I was going to ask Steve, what were you making there today with Sparky? What airplane you working on there?
I'm working on a Crossfire, and that was the the basic frame up of the fuselage.
Okay.
Got the wings mostly done. Got to do some more sanding and trimming things up. But wanted to kind of get started on the fuselage. So
Should be ready in 2025.
what's that?
Should be ready in 2025.
Yeah, I'm really slow.
Did those tails come through okay?
Yes, thank you, Bob. They did.
Is Sparky a good student? Did he learn a bit off you?
No, Sparky's a good teacher.
Very good.
Yeah, no, he doesn't get angry with me, and his favorite thing to say is, "It'll be all right."
It'll be fine.
When I screw up, it'll be all right.
It'll be fine, yeah.
Or it's only
It'll
wood.
be fine, yeah.
Only wood.
It's only wood, yeah.
Do any of you watch any of YouTube? There's a guy on there called Jimmy's World. Anybody watch that?
Yeah.
And he's got a T-shirt for sale. He's doing a thing where he's saving a 310. Everybody sends in, gets something, he's trying to save this Cessna 310. And one of the shirts he has, it says, "What could possibly go wrong?"
Yeah, well, that's a good flying shirt.
Everything.
Yeah, I broke one of my fuselage sides today.
Oh man,
it'll be all right.
It'll be fine. What do you got there, Mark? You got there, Mark?
I don't know if I've talked about this, but I think it might be a good night to show it. In 2011, I think I contacted Pat Hartness, who's the owner of Triple Tree, and I asked him if he would consider putting in control line circles. He didn't know me from Adam. Of course, I knew of him, and I'd been there many times. And he said, he got back to me a couple of days later. He said, "Yes, but I have two requirements." He said, "I'll put the money out for the circles, but I want you to be responsible for the site for the 8 days of Triple Tree every year." And I said, "I'd do that." And then he said, "I've always wanted to fly a control line plane from outside the circle." So he said, "Can you put together a plane that'll fly from a pylon that's radio controlled from outside the circle?" So I've been in sales a lot in my years, and I said, "Of course." Of course, I'd never done it. I found a company in California that actually makes pylons, and the way they did it, they have a stand. It's pretty substantial, and they have a handle that goes outside the circle from the pylon, and you can control the airplane from outside the circle through the pylon, which goes, of course, around. So I had to modify that because I didn't want to fly with a handle. So I'll show you the plane, and only about 4 people were successful flying it. Not because it didn't fly well, it's because the orientation was so different for an RC pilot. And it was also very different for a control line pilot because you're outside the circle flying the airplane.
Mhm.
So what I did, this is a SIG kit. Let me see if I can get it far enough away with a, I see it a little bit there. OS-15, a small tank. Built barely stock, but if you look on the side, that's the servo right up here for the
Yeah.
elevator.
That's a twister, right?
Is the servo
It looks like it.
for the throttle. Can you see that here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's on my other, there it is. So, of course, it has 2 lines of control, but that was really just to hold it on the lines. There was no bell crank. Okay. And the plane flew incredibly well. One of the problems we had with it, and there weren't many, was that the pulley that this thing goes around stopped at the top. So if someone tried to do a wing over at the top of it, it stopped. And you know what happens when a control line plane stops, 60 feet in the air. So you can see some repairs.
Yeah.
But here's the strangest thing of all. When I got the triple tree that May, and I asked, I went to the registration building there, and I told them who I was. I said, "You're the control line guy." I said, "Yeah, I guess I am." And I said, "Well, where are the circles?" And they brought me outside and they said, "See down there about half a mile, see those 3 bright green things? Those are your circles." I said, "God, this is great." Bob's been there. Some of you have been there. And I went down there as this guy on a tractor, just cutting the grass just beautifully short, maybe ½ inch.
Nice.
And it was Pat Hartness. And, this is 475 acres, and here's the guy, and he's doing the work. And he said, "Are you Mark?" I said, "I am." And he said, "I thought you were older." I said, "I am older." So he got off the tractor. He said, "I'm really glad that you're going to have some more guys show up." I said, "Yeah, of course." And he was starting to drive away. And I said, "Wait a minute, where are you going?" So I said, "I brought the airplane." He said, "What airplane?" I said, "The airplane that goes around a pylon, the control line plane." He starts laughing. He said, "I was just kidding about that." So I said, here it is. So the next day he came down in the golf cart and got the transmitter in his hand, and he flew it. He was about 104. I could fly it. I'll embarrass him right here if he's ever listening. Derek Barry got it up. He crashed it.
You got videos?
I'll have to look for that.
That'd
So
be
there's
good.
this, and then I built a P-40. Still have one of these years I'll bring it back because I have everything. I have the pylon, and it was really a lot of fun and very different.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How do you get the pylon to run backwards when the lines go slack?
I would just leave the site and wait and come back later. Yeah, you couldn't do it in a lot of wind. We would do it early in the day and late in the day, but it's a neat thing, and it drew a lot of attention. People saying, "Who the hell's flying this thing?" It'd be great if you had we used to do this in RC, Bob. We'd have the pilot somewhere located in the crowd. No one would know who the pilot is.
Actually, we did. Don Schulman, Leon Schulman's son, did that at the Garden State Circle Burners. They had a novelty event, and he brought out a flight streak hooked up with a receiver and a servo that controlled the elevator.
Yep.
And he had somebody who never flew an airplane before just stand out in the center and go around. And he'd tell them stop, and he'd do a maneuver, and he'd say go, and they'd go around, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, it's really fun.
The only thing is, I don't care how fast a servo is; it's not as fast as the human hand going up and down. So, you're not going to get the same kind of corners that you would get, out of one of our airplanes.
I like that custom landing gear on there, Mark.
They're not even close to being as fast as your hand.
Yes, thank you. I know you noticed that, huh?
Yeah, I noticed one was missing a wheel.
Well, it's been hanging up for about 9 years.
Oh, okay.
So, but if you want to try something different, it's really fun. And
with or without the wheel missing.
Yeah. So I just want to show you a little bit of history. It may end up in the in the learning center there on the wall. So there's no other airplanes in the museum that are quite built this way.
So
it worked great.
So, Mark, describe the control system. How did you say it wasn't a handle? And
there's
so
one
what was
servo.
it?
Yeah, Jonathan, there's one servo right in the middle there that controls the elevator, because that's all we control anyway. But for the sake of this event, especially on takeoff and landing, I wanted to have a throttle. So that servo is right here in the wing.
Okay.
Okay. And that just goes to the RC throttle on this OS 15 Max.
Right.
So I can control the speed of the airplane and the altitude of the airplane.
Okay.
Okay. So these are not adjustable, the lead outs.
No.
Okay.
Bring that up with you when you come later in the week. I want to fly that.
Very good. Yeah.
Oh, you want to fly it, huh?
Yeah.
I'll have to check your credentials.
Now, being radio controlled, does that have a transponder on it?
No, at the time it didn't need it. It did at the time it didn't need it. You know, that would be an interesting question though, because it is a tethered airplane.
Yes.
It doesn't need registration, just like my scale airplane with a throttle on it. It's a tethered model.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
And FAA
actually,
have given us
I was
the
being
document.
facetious because it'd be no different than 2.4 radio running all the controls on carrier or a scale plane.
Exactly.
And
Well,
FAA,
if you ever
I'm
get
sure you'll
bored-
know that FAA has given us the document that we can take and put in our flight box, and it
Yeah.
shows that we're exempt. So in case anybody ever comes up to you, you should print that off and have it in your flight box.
Where's it at so we can print it?
Yeah.
So I think the question would be for you guys that trying to fly at an RC field, is this airplane a control line or RC?
And the answer is yes.
Yes, exactly.
So where's that document at, Bob, that we could download it and print it?
Actually, somebody did post it on Stunt Hangar. I forgot who it was, but AMA has it. I'll see if I can find it and get back, maybe Friday with a address where you can go get that.
All right, that'd be great.
But I think somebody did post it on Stunt Hangar.
All right. And we have Lynn Burrell. He gave us a like, and now he's in here. Thank you, Lynn.
I just wanted to mention, I don't know if anybody mentioned it or not, but that's a SIG Acromaster. That's what it is,
Thank
not
you.
a twister.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, I thought it was
Great little airplane, by the way. For a 15 size, it is an outstanding little airplane.
It is.
Flies amazing. Oh yeah, I've done full patterns with them. They're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they are. It's funny you mention that, Len, because Bob will appreciate this. We've been able to do Triple Tree every year because I've been fortunate to get a lot of donations from manufacturers. If any of you have flown a Ring Rat from Stevens Aero, it's just a superb little airplane. And I think he's donated, it's probably close to 24. Okay.
Awesome.
And motors and the whole thing. And I've been fortunate with batteries. Thunder Power has given me just a ton of battery. Things started. And I wanted that airplane, that Acro. I called SIG. They were selling the kit at the time. It was like $32 or something. It was really cheap. They would not donate it. Not one airplane.
Not one.
And I said, I'm trying to introduce control line at Triple Tree. And I said, sorry, we just don't do that. So I bought it. I mean, thank God others aren't the same way, but but it is a good little airplane.
Hey, Len, your Acromaster, did you fly it with fixed or movable flaps?
Fixed.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
one that I
fixed.
started way back when that one of these days I get at. And I was contemplating whether to go fixed or moving, so maybe I'll just go fixed.
It seemed to fly fine with the fixed flaps, and it makes it a little more durable because it's not a very big wing. And yet, I was able to do square eights with it and everything else. And the one I did, the original one I had an OS Max 10 on it. and it was
Wow.
plenty of power with 12 thou
Yeah.
52-foot lines. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. I couldn't get over how well it flew.
Yeah.
You're
I
going to
was shocked.
absolutely
It
hate
really
me
flew well.
because the one I've had on the go, I built a fuse up for Enya 19. So I know how you love Enya engines.
I just think they're wonderful.
Maybe I should put an Enya 09 on it, like a couple I've got.
Yeah,
They
the
make
one
good
with the
sinkers.
exhaust pointing up at your face, that always works good.
Yeah, that's the one.
Mhm.
I got two of them. I should
Beautiful.
do a twin.
I have a comment from Frank Model Aviation Workshop. He does a lot of building videos on YouTube. He gave us a like. Thank you very much, Frank. And hey guys, thanks so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I'm always pleasantly surprised how these shows just have a life of their own. They just catch fire and we have a good time. But I'm going to end the live stream portion. And I want to thank everybody for coming in, and hopefully you have a chance to work in your shop or go flying and come back Friday and tell us all about it.